Waking, I feel sick and not aware of how much time has passed. Laying on my back, the ceiling is dancing with what appear to be flies, but more likely eye shard the brain creates when too much alcohol has been consumed. I'm supposed to be strong, a protector of the people, and yet here I lay. The clock on the wall indicates I'd been passed out about 40 minutes. Glancing over at the window through the partially torn curtain, I could see something had been written. Slowly pushing myself up to a sitting position, I brushed the curtain back. Written on the window is the word Malvado. Next to it, a footnote, MIC 21. Trying to wrap my brain around it, I noticed something peculiar. The carpet is soiled with red clay dirt. And in that dirt, there are paw prints circling my body. I close my eyes. This can't be true. There's no way that dog... Wait, red clay. I thought, but that's usually about 3 to 5 feet down in the ground. How is it possible? There's no mistaking the paw prints. He was here, next to me, studying my features. There are no open doors or windows to enter by, so how did he get in? My eyes race around the room looking for some explanation other than the obvious. Turning, I notice a trail leading away down the hallway toward the bathroom. There's red dirt on and around the toilet lid. The water in the stool is yellow and orange. I could see hair, not human, but animal. There are scratch marks on the lid and floor, leaving me only to believe the only possible conclusion my mind could understand. The dog had entered and exited through the sewer. But that can't be possible, unless it can change. This has got to be my imagination. Maybe I brought dirt in on my clothes and didn't notice. Maybe the prints are coming from my dirty shoes. Looking closely, I notice a piece of tape twisted in with some string that made a kind of funny pattern on my shoe, along with some debris. That could possibly explain the so-called paw prints. Yes, I believe it is. The pattern on my shoe made the prints. And the dirt I brought in from the yard earlier today. Of course, I cleaned the gutters. Must have stepped in some potting soil and got it on my shoe. The drinking had played with my mind. And my brain had tried to cause some crazy barking dog to tie in with it. I better take it easy with the booze. Take a shower. Anyone can have an accident. That's not unusual. The hot water from the shower filled the room with steam and allowed my pores to unload the crap cocktail I had served myself earlier. I could hear my phone sound off in the other room, but I was busy corralling nose hair with a nifty trimmer I was given at Christmas. What will they think of next? I wiped the mirror down to get a better look, and hovering over my shoulder was a pumpkin-sized dog head peering at me in the reflection. I turned to swing with great force to eviscerate the evil bastard. Getting tangled up, I fell hard on my back. Looking up through the fog, a figure rose to the ceiling and absorbed into the vents of the tiny fan. I crawled to the toilet and used it to pull myself into a sitting position. Out of breath, leaking blood from my head, I grabbed some toilet paper to hold against the wound as I pondered what to do. I stood slowly, not wanting to look in the mirror. but focused on the ground as I walked naked down the hallway into the grand room. The phone was resting on the chair arm. As I advanced toward the phone, it began to draw away from me. I take a step, it moves a step, as if trying to prevent me from touching it. Bracing my hands on my knees, I close my eyes and take a deep breath. I have to let some oxygen fill my brain. 2 deep breaths and my eyes open. I'm sitting on the edge of the chair looking down at the phone. I have hallucinated before, but not like this. Not like the dog in the mirror. I must have alcohol poisoning and it's affecting my brain. I sit in the chair and rest for a moment. I must collect my thoughts. Just a quiet little moment to rest and relax my aching back and shoulder. I pulled the dried tissue from the wound and it starts to bleed again. So I replaster it to my scalp and lay my head back on the chair and gently close my eyes. I'm standing in the lunch line at Belmont High. The pretty girl in front of me is waiting for a burrito. I'm getting a burger and a cup full of fries. I can smell the perfume on the girl, white shoulders, I think. Her hair is long and brown, and she is donning a cheerleader sweater and skirt. I think it's Kelly Dotson, but I've never been this close before. As she gets her lunch, she turns and winks at me, and I am beside myself. Before I can think, she's gone into another stratosphere, leaving me alone with my cup of fries and soggy burger. I notice she has not moved far, but is nested at a small table about 20 feet away. They normally all flock together, but not today. She is alone with her burrito. It is at this moment that I decide to sit down beside her. A move never before attempted by me or anyone like me. Her legs are tan. Her dress is short. I focus on her black and white saddle shoes as I approach the nest. I fear I will fumble the fries and burger onto her lap before I can seat myself. In a moment, in a micro minute, I ease down onto the bench and pretend to belong. She stops eating and stares at me with her mouth half full of burrito. I fumble with a fry and try not to bite my finger. Expecting her to get up and leave, she says, "Are you new here?" In a split second, I have to decide, lie or tell the truth. If I'm new, then maybe a small drop of mercy. If I tell her I've been going here for 3 years, she might let out a chirp and call all the others to group humiliate me. What to do? I lie. I just moved here from California. Wow, she said, California? Do you know any movie stars? Plenty, I said. That sounds awesome. My name is Alexandria. My friends call me Andy. Thinking on my feet, I tell her my name is Tom. She looks at me in silence, as if waiting for me to talk. And then I realize she's sizing me up, like shopping for a new flavor of lip gloss. She breaks the silence by saying, "I'm having a party at my house on Friday. Would you like to come?" I pretend to fiddle with a fry, not wanting to blurt out the word, yes. Before I can answer, she grabs my hand and writes her phone number on my palm. She has trouble getting the ink to start for the sweat on my skin. All the while I'm thinking, she's touching me. I focus on her mouth and pretend that it's an everyday occurrence. Finishing, she leans over and kisses me on the cheek and says, "Welcome to Belmont." Enamored by her touch and the smell of her skin, she abruptly rises and says, "Call me later and we'll chat." And she glides away to assemble with the other birds in the flock. Sitting there with the sun on my face, a feeling washes over me like Christmas morning, birthdays, and puppy breath. Flying with the birds is much different than being earthbound. The air is better up there, the sky bluer, the view unobstructed. Being a bird for the first time is indescribable. Coming back to Earth, I am aware that people are staring at me. The cave jocks look at me with disdain. The casual herd is waiting for my arms to fall off. And the birds that are high in the trees are preening each other and paying no attention at all. I couldn't wait for the day to end so I could race home and watch the clock until enough time had passed for me to make the call without seeming too eager. But an eager beaver I was. The writing on my hand was nearly melted away. I had worked myself up by practicing in the mirror from a scripted conversation I had devised. The fear I am feeling right now is suffocating, like being locked inside a small space. The air is heavy and it's hard to breathe. Like having your teeth drilled and the Novocaine starts to wear off. You want to scream, but the dentist has his hand in your mouth. He might notice your eyes are tearing up, but he is busy looking down the blouse of his ripe assistant. It's then you learn to control fear and harness it. That is what I'm feeling as I make the call. A pleasant-sounding woman answered, "Hello." "Is Andy home?" I said. "Who's this?" "Tom." She calls out, "Alexandria, you have a phone call." Then silence. It's dreadful. "Hello," she said. "Hi, this is Tom from California." "Hey. Well, how have you been?" "Well, it's only been a few hours. Not much has changed." Silently, I'm thinking, what an idiot I am. My mind is searching for what to say when she says, "Can I call you back in 2? I'm going to change phones and go upstairs. What's your number?" I gave it to her, and she quietly hung up. As I lay there waiting, imagining what a lobster must feel like before it's plunged into boiling water, that screaming sound that comes from the pot. Wow, it's been 10 minutes and no call. Someone must have gotten to her. She knows I'm not a new student. The jig is up. My cover's blown. My first real chance at going to a party that wasn't 10 other guys eating cake and making fart sounds with their arms. As I sit up and contemplate my dismal future at school and the teasing that will likely follow, the phone rings. I decide to let it ring 3 times as not to appear too eager. On the 3rd ring, I pick up. "Did you get my message?" he said. I stiffened in the chair at the sound of his voice. A sick, hollow feeling came over me as I looked toward the window at the word Malvado. "Your crude circus tricks won't get me to stay on the phone. I can hang up any time. You must think I'm a fool to believe a dog came in my house through the sewer. Just because I drink too much doesn't mean I can't tell the difference between fiction and reality." This is Dr. Crane. Are you all right? The nurse said you called to get a refill on your sertraline. But I can't refill if you won't keep your appointments. I need to see you right away. It sounds like you might be having a psychotic break. Dr. Crane, is that you? Have you been pranking me? Certainly not. You've been missing doses of your meds, because that can be dangerous. We talked about maintaining the levels of these SSRIs to get the best results. Inconsistency just won't make your symptoms worse. They'll get horrifying. What's this about a dog in the sewer? I drank too much last night and had a bad dream. You can't be mixing these meds with alcohol. Do you want to stop your heart? Is this a cry for help? I'll send an ambulance right away if you feel desperate. No, don't do that. I'll make an appointment tomorrow. We'll make sure that you do, and remember, there's no shame in having PTSD. Many of my patients struggle with the same thing for different reasons. Being a police officer and seeing the things you have seen, it becomes hard to separate emotional traumas that your brain has processed. Finding all those dead bodies and not being able to find the responsible party weighs heavy on a person's psyche, even when you tampered with evidence. What did you say? I said weighs on a person's psyche. Are you following me? No more drinking. Right, Doc. Hopefully, you can get back to doing what you do best. Watching porn and playing with yourself. I'm sorry, what? Get back out there chasing bad guys. Now make that appointment. As I hung up the phone, I felt a moment of relief, thinking things would be all right. But right now I have an appointment with a bottle and a field trip to an address on Baker Street.